Hi, welcome to this week's edition of Vineyard Spotlight. I'm Miranda Post with the O'Hanlon Group, and today we are interviewing Martha's Vineyard Community Services. My two guests are Heather Quinn, who is the director of the Early Child Care Programs, and Joanne Lambert, who is the coordinator for the Family Child Care Network. Hi ladies, thank you so much for being here today. We're so excited to learn more about Martha's Vineyard Community Services and the Early Child Care Program, and just looking to learn more.
Absolutely, thank you for having us. In my role at Community Services, I oversee 3 programs. We have an early education and care center that serves infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. We have a home-based Head Start and early Head Start program, and then we have the Martha's Vineyard Family Center, which provides parent education, parent support groups, parent-child activities, as well as individualized family supports. In 2018, our programs partnered to complete a comprehensive community needs assessment where we really looked at where our strengths were and where the opportunities for growth were. And what we learned pretty quickly is that there was a critical need to increase accessible childcare opportunities on the island, particularly for families who have young children, infants and toddlers. In thinking about how we could move forward with meeting that need, we looked at the family child care community and recognized that historically those programs had served many families who had young children. We found that there were folks that were leaving the field for a multitude of reasons, and there weren't folks who were entering the field. So we had a vision to create a position, a Family Child Care Network coordinator, and we were very fortunate to receive funding through the Vision Fellowship to fund that position. And our hope was to increase capacity within the family child care system so that more families' needs could be met, but also to create a comprehensive system of supports that would allow family child care providers to continue to grow and thrive.
Amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that explanation. Joanne, could you tell us a little bit more about the Family Child Care Network and just the services that you provide?
Yeah, thank you, Miranda, for asking these questions.
Yeah.
I came into this after being a family child care provider for 25 years, and I was approached by Martha's Vineyard Community Services with this lovely position that the Vision Fellowship had funded. And the first thing that we did was create a network of support for the family child care providers. This is something that hadn't been in place for many years, if ever. And we started creating a space and a time for them to meet as a group and support each other, professional development opportunities that they would share together, and sharing supplies and ideas for their curriculum. And this just gave them a support that lifted their programs and helped them to enrich their programs. By doing this, we're hoping that, and actually we've been successful at attracting more people into the field, which is really one of the big goals of the network.
No, that's amazing. Could you tell us a little bit more about, if people are interested in entering this field, what kind of resources they would have?
Well, I'll start with, the Family Child Care Program is a home-based child care program. It is these programs are licensed by the state, the Early Education and Care Department. The providers work in their home, usually one provider. They are licensed to care for 6 to maybe 8 children. So they don't have they don't have colleagues that they work with in this field. So one of the big goals of the network is to create this kind of colleague place where they can work with each other and talk about their programs, talk about their issues. And we all, as family child care providers, are also required to keep up their continuing education through the state licensing. So providing a place where they can do that together. And we've been doing a lot of community-based professional development with the group, which connects the group more with the community as well.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Could you tell me a little bit more about the opportunities that you've created to help bring more providers into the field?
Absolutely. We recognize that one of the barriers to licensing your home as a family child care provider is that there might be a need for a fence, or there might be a need to have a second egress. And for many folks, that is cost prohibitive. So we had an idea to connect prospective family child care providers with the capital needed to fund those projects. So last year we applied for funding through MV Youth to fund a pilot project. We had a prospective provider who was interested in opening a family child care program in her home, but she needed to complete renovations in order to become licensed.
Right.
So we were very fortunate that we were granted funding that went through NV Youth that directly supported those renovations, that allowed the family child care provider to become licensed. She was licensed this fall, so we have one new program on the island.
That's awesome.
With the success of that project, we thought this is really something that we could replicate. So we applied to MV Youth this year for a much larger grant that will allow us to fund renovation projects for 9 additional programs over the next 5 years. We received that funding this winter, $450,000, that we are currently in the process of reaching out to our community to identify who might be interested in doing this work, and may just have a small or a larger project that they need to complete in order to become licensed. So we're right now in the process of holding some informational sessions, meeting with individuals who might be interested, and our hope is to fund 2 projects this year.
And Joanne, can you tell me a little bit more about the accomplishments that the network has achieved thus far?
Yes, since coming together as a group, we meet monthly and we are more connected with the community. We've attracted more providers to join the group, become licensed, join the group. As a group, we've also been able to apply for funding, grant funding for, right now we're distributing a lending library that was funded by MV Youth, curriculum supplies that the 12 members of the group can share between the programs, which is a great boost to their programs. And we have also been able to reach out into the Brazilian community to folks who want to become licensed child care providers. And then we've been able to secure translation services to help so that they can join our group and join our CPR first aid classes. So the strength of the group is really very powerful.
Great, and this conversation has been super helpful in just understanding more about the community need and the role that the Martha's Vineyard Community Services and the Early Childhood Program serves. And so, Heather, could you just talk a little bit more about how you're fulfilling this need and for the future, like the vision of it all, what it represents?
Absolutely. We recognized early on that this was not a need that any one program could meet. So we are approaching this really as a community, looking at how we can work together, organizations can work together to really help us build a workforce and continue to grow capacity within our early education and care programs. This past year, we had a really incredible opportunity to partner with MVSET and Cape Cod Community College to make credit-bearing college coursework accessible to interested students on the island. So we established with MVSET an early childhood learning cohort, and there was a group of 10 students who were enrolled in the foundational course needed to become a licensed educator, child growth and development, and that was an asynchronous course that the students were taking online. And what we did along with MVSET was to create an opportunity for the students to come together weekly in person and really bring that coursework to life. And we went into that with a vision for what we hoped we could accomplish, and it was really exceeded our expectations in so many ways. It was an incredibly diverse group of folks. We learned a lot through that first semester, and this semester we've built on that, and there are currently 24 students on island that are enrolled in early childhood coursework through Cape Cod Community College. And those folks are, some of them are prospective educators who are interested in entering the field, and some of them are educators that work in any of our island community-based preschools, and they're looking to further their education. And we realize that that's one of the barriers that programs have to expanding, is really having a pool of educators who are qualified to work in early education and care programs. And I would say that it was clear prior to the pandemic that we needed to build capacity.
Yes.
And then COVID happened and had an incredibly destabilizing effect on early childhood programs, not just on Martha's Vineyard, but across the country. And what COVID did was really shine a spotlight on the foundational role that programs play in the economy of our community, as well as the health and well-being of our community. So we really believe that this is a moment in time that we can really build on that momentum and that understanding of how important the work is, and continue to support educators within our existing programs and educators who might be interested in joining the field.
Amazing, ladies. Thank you so much for your time, for giving us more perspective and an overview of your programs. I feel like it's extremely important, and we know it's vital, it's critical for our community, for our island community, and you're just allowing accessibility for more providers to come in, and allowing more working families to have access to trained, reputable providers. And I just feel, as a mother, thank you so much. That is so amazing. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you for shining a spotlight on it.
Absolutely. And so in closing, would you be able to tell our viewers and the community how they can get more information on becoming a provider, and then, yes, if you could just give us a little more information on how to reach you and then any upcoming events.
Well, the Martha's Vineyard Community Services website has a list of all licensed programs, a wealth of information about programs and where to find information, has my contact information there, or I can be reached through the Family Center in Vineyard Haven.
Okay, perfect.
And I do want people to know that there is help through my position in the Family Center if they want to become a licensed child care provider. It's not an easy process, but we have help for you, so please, contact us.
And I think what Joanne just said there is key. There are so many different components to becoming a licensed provider. We just talked about the education. We talked about the need to have a home that is licensable. And what Joanne just mentioned, the licensing process can feel daunting. It's a process that is pretty comprehensive, as it should be. And we feel so grateful that we now have Joanne that literally is able to walk folks through that licensing process, really from beginning to end. So again, the strength of this network is that we are collaborating with the resources available in the community to ensure that folks can be successful.
That's wonderful. And if someone wants to donate or support this cause, how can they be able to give?
Absolutely. So our website, which is mvcommunityservices.org, as Joanne said, has detailed information about our early childhood programs, and then there is also an opportunity to donate there if interested.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies. It was such a pleasure having you on here. Again, we're very grateful for what you're doing for our island community. So thank you.
Thank you, Miranda.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's edition of Vineyard Spotlight. We'll see you next time.